All right, good evening. I'm going to call the January 9th, 2024 Finance Meeting to order. I am present, Councilmember Brennan, Councilmember McPartland, Councilmember Moskowitz, Town Attorney Finnan, Town Comptroller Greenwood, Assistant to the Town Comptroller Janet Wynn. We also have Eric Amberger, Seth Goldstein, Chief Koshin, Michelle Martinelli, Diane Percy, Ray Smith, Matt Yetto, Laura Robertson, and we have Ted Remsnyder from the Gazette. And that's all the folks I know in the crowd today. Thank you. So may I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the December 12th, 2023 Finance meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes from the December 12th Finance meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those minutes are approved, and we'll move on to items for action.
Okay, just going forward, the first several that have a single asterisk by them are for the special meeting tonight, and the remainder are for the end of the month, just to clarify. So initially, we have a resolution recognizing the service of a retiring employee. We have a resolution to appoint a senior real property clerk. That is a promotion into the spot that is being vacated. And a resolution for the supervisor to sign an agreement with a communications consultant. For the end of the month, we have a resolution for the supervisor to sign an MOA to add the senior real property clerk to the white collar union. It's a change in title, and just so you know, the old title that's being retired out of is one that's being phased out currently by civil service. So we're just aligning the titles to what's currently more accepted. There will be a resolution to appoint a real property clerk. The assessor has been conducting interviews and is working through that, so we will have a name by the end of the month. A resolution accepting the 2022 financial report for the town officials. This is the one for the elected officials that we need to, after the resolution, we send that along to the 4th JD to account for the justices, so we keep them up to date. We have several things on for finance approval tonight. The first item for finance approval is to authorize the postage for the second senior citizen exemption informational mailing, not to exceed $4,500. Were there any questions for Eric on that? Okay.
You want to explain it, Eric? Sure, come on up. Why don't you explain what that's all about? I know we talked about this a little bit at the last month's meeting, but why don't you give a little more explanation?
So the senior second mailing, it's a state mandate. They want to have a second notice go to every residence in town to let them know that senior citizens have certain exemptions available to them. The enhanced star and the senior citizen exemption. The state wants, the letter of the law says a second notice, and the state's made clear that they want to do mailings. So this year we're going to do a mailing.
So this is something a little bit above and beyond is what you're saying.
More than what we did last year. Yeah. So everyone in town, just about everyone in town is going to get the letter. We're trying to pull out people we already know. We're getting the senior citizen exemption and LLCs, things like that, corporations that would never qualify. But it's going to be about it's going to be over 7,000 parcels getting a letter.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Okay, looks like we need a vote on this to approve the postage for the second senior citizen exemption informational mailing. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, and just to note, that should not exceed $4,500.
Okay, thank you very much. The next item is finance approval to authorize emergency repairs to truck 89. And Matt had that on. He had sent an email to all the board members authorizing the emergency repair, but we just wanted to formalize that process with finance approval to make sure we were meeting all our obligations with the purchasing policy.
Matt, why don't you come on up and remind everyone and anyone who's going to be viewing this live stream?
So truck 89 is one of our 10-wheel dump trucks. We use that for a lot of our emergency repairs. It went down for service, and when they got into tearing apart the rear end on the suspension, they found that it had more issues than we originally thought. So the cost was going to exceed my authority, and we wanted to get that repaired as quickly as possible. So I sent an email to the board asking for emergency approval, and then the dollar amount requires finance committee approval. It's going to be just under $8,000.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions? All right, we've already given approval via email. Do we need to do it here? All right. Okay, we need to have a finance approval to authorize the emergency repairs for truck 89 for the amount approximately $8,000. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that has finance approval.
Okay, thank you very much. The next item for finance approval was to authorize repairs to the roof of the concession building at Blatnick Park by Niskuna Baseball. They had coordinated this with Highway Superintendent Ray Smith. And because it is over the $6,000 amount, they need finance approval to go ahead and make that repair.
Ray, do you need to come up and speak to this? Would you like to? Sure, yes, thank you.
So Niskuna Babe Ruth reached out to me. The concession stand on Line Drive there had a leaky roof. They received a couple quotes for repairs, and it exceeded my threshold to approve it. This is all being done by a contractor for them. So this is just the approval with the clubs following our purchasing policy.
Does anyone have any questions?
So to clarify, are we paying for that or
No,
is
they are.
Swirsky Baseball's paying?
They-
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
All right, so we need finance approval to authorize the repair of the concession building roof at Blatnick Park by Niskuna Baseball. The amount is $7,900. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that has finance approval.
Okay, thank you very much. The final item for finance approval today is to authorize the annual payment for the Zone 5 Regional Law Enforcement Academy assessment, which is $48.60. We pay our portion towards that every year, and that's where we have our officers do their training.
Jordan, would you like to come up and speak to this? I'm sorry, Chief Koshin. Cheeky today.
I don't have much to add. This is a mandatory assessment to be a part of the academy. And we pay annually, and it comes through finance.
Thank you. All right. May I have finance approval to authorize the annual payment for Zone 5 Regional Law Enforcement Academy assessment? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed? All right, that has finance approval. Moving on.
Okay, just a couple of discussion items. We will be putting together the budgetary modifications for the end of the month meeting. At this time of the year, we're working to close out all the bills we have for the end of last year and get those cleaned up. And for lines that have a little bit less money than that the bills need, we just shift things around to make sure we cover all of our obligations. The next item was the organizational chart that I sent to the town board members with the agenda. Just, it's something we should have updated periodically that just reflects the positions we currently have in the town and how the different departments lay out. Just more for everybody's awareness than anything else. It's just helpful sometimes to see, especially as we're working on hiring positions where those vacancies are. And finally, I know that this has been Councilmember McPartland's request for a very long time. I finished in December, but there wasn't time to go over it there. I've put together a whole bunch of information laying out long-term budget considerations, starting with 2024, going through 2028. And it lays out what our expenses are in several different categories. And so we'll be going through a very exciting and interesting presentation on that at the meeting at the end of the month.
Well, thank you very much. We've been waiting for that.
You are very welcome. It was actually a lot of fun to go through the numbers. We had two late additions I just want to bring your attention to that didn't end up getting onto their respective committee meetings. We had one that was added on to, referred from Public Works. If you go through section 3 there to the very bottom, the last one that was added after the committee meeting is a resolution to appoint a water and sewer maintenance worker that got added on, so that will be on for the end of the month. And then the very end of the list, referred from Economic Development, added on at the end was, there's, oh, never mind, it did, this was an earlier version of the agenda. It was just regarding to the grant application that was in fact submitted today. So just so everybody was aware, it had been discussed during the committee, but it just hadn't quite made it on. So I apologize for that. And that is all that I have for tonight.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I will make a motion to adjourn the finance meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we stand adjourned and we will begin the organizational meeting at 7 PM.